Welcome back, friends. Previously, we were discussing about what is meant by ratio analysis, its concept, meaning, and different types of analysis that comes under ratio analysis. And the previous class, we were discussing activity ratios. We will discuss about further tools or ratios comes under turnover ratios. Previously, we were discussing about debtors turnover ratio, and equation is credit sales divided by average account receivable. Remember one thing, sometimes in the question there will not be any details regarding credit sales. In that case, you will be given only total sales or cash sales, something like that. In that situation, they take that total sales or sales whichever given in the question is considered as credit sales. And in some situation, there will not be any details regarding average account receivable, that is opening account receivable plus closing account receivable divided by 2. For these two items, you know what are the items that are required. Sometimes no information will be given regarding opening account receivable or closing account receivable. In that case, the only detail given in the question is the debtors at the end of the financial year. In that case, use that closing debtors instead of average account receivable. It is similar to the concept which we have discussed in case of inventory turnover ratio. Next one, creditors turnover ratio or creditors velocity. This ratio indicates the period of credit allowed by creditors in making payment of credit purchases. The equation is creditors turnover ratio equal credit purchases divided by average accounts payable. We all know what is meant by credit purchase. Credit purchase is the difference between total purchase and cash purchase. If you are getting a higher ratio on the basis of the calculation, it means lower period of credit allowed by creditors. And at the same time, if you are getting a lower ratio, it means more period of credit. So from a business point of view, if you are getting a lower ratio, it will be good because you are getting more time in repayment. If you are getting higher ratio, it means you need to pay back quickly. So it's a common logic that works between debtors and creditors. You are aware about what is meant by debtors and creditors, so you will understand the concept while dealing with the cases relating to creditors turnover ratio. Next one, average accounts payable. Equation, opening accounts payable plus closing accounts payable divided by 2. It is just similar to the concept which we have discussed previously in case of debtors. Here opening accounts payable means opening bills payable, opening creditors, and then closing the accounts payable means closing creditors and closing bills payable. If all these details given in the question, you can take the average accounts payable. Similarly, if there is no information regarding, while computing creditors turnover ratio, if there is no information regarding credit purchases, you can use the purchases or details regarding purchases given in the question as credit purchases on the assumption that during the year the whole purchases was credit. And sometimes there will not be any information regarding average accounts payable. You all know what are the concepts that comes under average account payable. In that case, the only detail given in the question may be the creditors at the end of the financial year. You can take that closing creditors instead of average accounts payable. It is a similar concept as we have discussed in case of debtors turnover ratio. Next one, average payment period. Average payment period is the time taken to repay back or pay back our credits or our debts to the debtors. Average payment period is the period of credit allowed by the creditors. This can be computed by the equation average payment period is time divided by creditors turnover ratio. We have discussed about this part time. It is similar to almost all the cases that comes under activity ratio, where time can be expressed in case of weeks, days and months. So depending upon the question or information regarding the statement, you need to use it wisely. Similarly, just like the creditors, or in case of the inventory turnover ratio as well as debtors turnover ratio, if the details regarding days is given, it's better to go for 360 days rather than 365 days, so that you will get a round figure. Next one, total asset turnover ratio. It establishes the relationship between total assets or gross capital employed and sales. It is one of the determinants of the overall profitability of a business. This ratio is also called investment turnover ratio or capital turnover ratio. It can be computed by using the equation total asset turnover equal to sales divided by total assets. This ratio, why we are using this ratio, is to measure how much is the total assets that is utilized in improving or increasing sales. The higher the ratio, it is good. Lower the ratio, it is bad. If you are getting a higher ratio, higher total asset turnover ratio, it indicates better efficiency of the management in the utilization of total assets or total funds of the business in improving the sales. Whereas a lower ratio signifies the inefficiency of the organization in utilizing scarce resources of the management or the resources of the organization. This ratio, why we are using this ratio is, it is used to measure or identify how much is the contribution or utilization of resources or assets in the organization in improving or increasing the sales. Next one, fixed assets turnover ratio. This ratio signifies the efficiency with which fixed assets of the business are utilized. In the earlier session, it was total assets. In that case, we were discussing about the portion of total assets that are used for improving sales. Here, we are studying in detail the percentage or ratio of fixed assets and its contribution towards improving sales. The equation is fixed asset turnover ratio equal cost of sales divided by fixed assets. Remember, here we have used cost of sales divided by fixed asset. Previously, we used the sales divided by total asset. Then what is the difference between both cases? In the previous session, we were discussing total assets. In total assets, all the items may not be expressed in cost. But here in fixed assets, it will always be expressed in cost. Here the numerator used in the formula is cost of sales rather than sales. This is because the denominator is fixed asset that are always valued at cost or cost minus depreciation. So while in ratio or while computing any kind of ratios under ratio analysis, you need to compare items that can be expressed in similar terms. Here fixed cost is represented in or expressed in cost terms. So when you are comparing fixed asset with something relating to sales, you need to use cost of sales. In the previous equation, it was total fixed asset. That's why we use sales. Here it will be cost of sales. So remember, while dealing with questions or cases, make sure while using this equation as well as previous equation, make sure there is necessary details regarding cost of sales or sales in the question. If there is details regarding two sales in the case or question you are dealing with, use it appropriately. Sometimes the details regarding cost of sales may not be given. In that case, go for using sales. It's all depends upon the nature or type of question you are dealing with. We will discuss in detail the cases relating to this type of issues in the further sessions. If you are getting a higher ratio, a higher fixed asset ratio is a sign of efficiency in the utilization of fixed assets or resources in improving sales, whereas a lower ratio on the other hand indicates the inefficient utilization of fixed asset, or it may be due to idle capacity, or maybe low volume of sales. Next one, working capital turnover ratio. The working capital turnover ratio indicates the number of times working capital is turned over during an year. It also signifies the efficiency of the management in the use of current or short-term resources of a firm. It can be calculated by using the formula or equation: working capital turnover ratio equal to cost of sales divided by net working capital. Cost of sales is other term or name which can be synonymously used instead of cost of goods sold. Here, a higher ratio indicates faster turnover or greater efficiency in the use of working capital. But if the ratio is too high, it means inadequate working capital, or it is a situation of over trading. At the same time, if you are getting a lower ratio, it means redundant working capital or a position of under trading. This ratio is important tool for management of working capital. So all these ratios that comes under activity ratio. Just go through all these ratios. They are very important ratios. Consider the factors comes under what are the scales that depicts the ratio regarding which one is higher ratio, what it depicts, and which one is lower ratio, what is the meaning of that. Just go through all these concepts. We will deal with further cases in the coming sessions. Thank you.